Hey everyone, thanks for joining me for another HitFilm tutorial. We recently recreated the Halo jump sequence from the 2014 film Godzilla, directed by Gareth Edwards. We did this to celebrate the release of the all-new HitFilm Pro. You can learn more about it on our website. In this video, I'm going to be showing you the techniques I use to isolate the actors and make them fly. Let's jump right into the software and get started. The first step with most all of the visual effects in this Halo jump is to isolate the actors. Here we have Basil hanging from wires against a blue screen. Come up and select the freehand mask tool. We're going to draw a rough outline to separate him from the elements on set. Be sure to scrub through and make sure his hands and feet don't go outside the boundary. If they do, you'll have to keyframe the mask. Next up is the chroma key effect. Drop down the controls and click and hold the eyedropper tool. Place it over a blue area in the scene and let go. Switch the view to status. This shows you a black, gray, and white representation of what is being keyed out. Move the gain slider until the background is completely black. Change the view to matte to get a grayscale rendering. In the matte settings, roll back the clip foreground until the actor turns completely white. This means that no part of him is being keyed out. I'll switch the view back to result to see how it's looking. We've got an outline visible. There are a few things we can do. The Erode Expand option can shrink or grow the edges by a few pixels. There's also the Recover Edge color in this dropdown. You'll want to keep this one pretty low. If it's too high, it'll start to distort the edges. Finally, increase the softness a touch to feather everything. After you've keyed out the actor, it's time to remove the wires. Grab the freehand mask tool again and draw a shape around them in your scene. Depending on the angle, you might have to use several masks, but for this I can get away with one. Drop down the transform properties and activate keyframes for the path. This is the kind of tedious part, where you have to go almost frame by frame and align the mask with your wires. If it crosses onto your actor at any point, it'll cut them off. You can use the selection tool to move the entire mask at once, or go back to the freehand to move just one point. When you're done, set the mask to subtract to remove the wires, and feather if necessary. I have my cloud background ready to go. I made this using particles and 3D lights. If you'd like a more detailed tutorial, click the card on screen. At the end of that tutorial, I show you how to make a side view of the clouds. In this sequence, all of the soldiers have flares on their ankles, and this is also where the red smoke comes out. For each person, I created a point, and keyframed its position to follow along with their feet. This point will be used for both the flare and the smoke. After you're done keyframing the position, parent the point to the actor layer. This soldier is much too bright for the scene. Let's add a curves effect. In the RGB section, drop the right end way down to darken the whole clip. To add the ankle flare, create a new plane and drop the light flares effect onto it. Each flare is built up of 3 elements. The first is the hotspot, and for that I chose the flashlight LED type. In the hotspot position properties, zero out the center and set the Use layer to the boot point. It's a bit large, so decrease the scale a touch. Go into the global settings and drop the saturation to turn the flare white. For the second part of the flare, you can duplicate this one. Change the type to flashlight beam. This will give you a stream of light that can be moved around by adjusting the pivot point. Position the beam so that it appears to be pointing away from the soldier. Raise the saturation and adjust the hue shift to get an orange-red color. Duplicate this flare one more time to create the third part. In the Raise dropdown, increase the length and width scale to create a wider glow. This adds more detail to the flare. Now let's add some smoke streaming off the soldier's ankle. Drag the particle simulator into the timeline. In the Controls panel, drop down the emitter, then Shape, and attach the particles to the boot point layer. Now, like the flares, it'll follow his movement. For the trajectory, select Cone, so that they're moving in one direction. Set the Z rotation to -90 to have them point straight up. In the movement properties, let's set the speed to about 2000 to have them really fly off the screen. In the appearance section, change the texture source to built-in, and select your texture of choice. The particles should be going in a single stream, so back in the trajectory, lower the radius. Let's change the color to a very dark red, here in the appearance section. Be sure to turn on motion blur for this layer when you're ready to export. I then added another layer of particles in front of the soldiers, and made them a dull, almost transparent gray. This was done using the same techniques to create the background. I just turned down the particles per second. We'll now create a grade layer to begin blending everything together. I'll start with a glow effect. This one will be pretty subtle, and mostly just for giving the flashes some bleed onto the soldier. Next up is a diffuse, which will soften the edges and blend all of the layers together. Finish off the scene with a slight vignette, a shake effect, and some film grain. The letterbox effect can quickly add the black bars on the top and bottom. Thanks for watching, guys. We've got more Halo Jump videos coming out soon, so be sure to subscribe and click the bell icon to be notified about all our new content. If you're new here, feel free to check out the channel. We've got tons of VFX and filmmaking tutorials. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you all in the next video.